Hey, so if you follow my channel, you probably know that I recently went out to southern New Mexico to do some landscape photography work at White Sands National Park. National parks usually aren't my thing, too many people, too many restrictions, but I'm making an exception for White Sands because it is truly special. I mean, it is the largest organically produced white gypsum dune field of its kind, not just in the United States, but anywhere in the world. And that's pretty awesome. And so I love going there. And by the way, in case you're interested to know, because I've been there now so many times and I've built up a fair amount of experience there, I decided to publish an ebook about photographing the park, about visiting the park. It contains practical information about the park, things you should know, before you go there, things I would recommend packing and bringing with you, not just in your luggage, but also in your camera bag as well. A lot of information about photographing the dunes there, photographing the dunes at all times of day, morning, midday, late afternoon, golden hour, blue hour, and just sharing my experience there and what has worked for me, in case it would, be helpful for anyone else. So if White Sands is, a place that you intend to go and do some photography sometime in the future, you will find a link down below in the video description where you can learn more about it. So anyway, for this trip to White Sands, I decided to try something a little bit different with my video setup. Usually when I go out and shoot, I use like a Canon EOS R5 and an R6, and that's typically what I've used in the past. And I've been happy with those cameras. I mean, they've been great video quality, etc. But for a place like White Sands, especially, because it is a desert and it gets rather hot, rather dry, lots of sunlight, just loads of sunlight all day long. I end up carrying like a fair amount of camera gear with me because, I have to have camera gear for both photography and video, and I need to bring a ton of water with me and a bunch of other things. And well, maybe I should just shoot everything with this, with an iPhone, because I'm already bringing an iPhone with me anyway. Like, it's not something else. It's not something additional, and shave like, I don't know, like 4 pounds, 5 pounds off of my camera bag, which may not sound like much, but trust me, it is. Like, it truly does add up. And that's exactly what I did. There were, some handheld, like vlogging style shots. And for that, I used a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a surprisingly good and capable camera. I mean, for like vlogging and handheld kind of stuff, the stabilization is perfect. The image quality is actually really, really good. I mean, it's surprising how good it is, I think. But it's a little awkward to use mounted on a tripod, at least I think it is. The screen is really small on it, and it just feels weird, composing with it. And I just don't like using it for that. Handheld, awesome. Everything else, not so much. So I thought, well, let's give the iPhone 15 a try. And this is the new, the latest model, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And just so you know, I am not one of those types of people that always has to have the latest and greatest iPhone. I upgraded to the new, I'm usually like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 generations behind because I guess I'm somewhat frugal, which is a fancy way of saying that I'm cheap, I guess. But I made an exception for this because these new iPhone 15 Pros and Pro Max models, they have the new Apple Log, which is, finally we have a log color profile for shooting video, similar to C-Log, S-Log, F-Log, whatever else. And finally we have one from Apple, which, helps expand the dynamic range of the camera sensor. It also does a better job with not adding as much artificial clarity and sharpening to the image, which has always been one of my criticisms of shooting video with a phone. Like, it always looks like video from a phone, if you know what I mean. These phones can also shoot in ProRes, just straight up ProRes HQ, ProRes LT, which is what I ended up using the most. It also has Blackmagic Cam, which is a free, unbelievable to me that it's free because it's such a good app. There is the Blackmagic Cam, which is a free video recording app for iOS, and I think it's now available for Android as well. It is fantastic. It's obviously from Blackmagic, the people behind DaVinci Resolve and their cameras and everything else, and you can tell that a lot of experience went into the design and engineering of that app because it's wonderful. And finally, the other thing that made the iPhone 15 attractive to me is the port, because, before, we had just that awful proprietary Lightning connection. And I think Apple was like, the people at Apple were the only people on the planet that cared about the Lightning port and wanted the Lightning port, at least I think. And so now we finally have USB-C, thanks to the EU courts, like pushing Apple to finally do it. And this is great because it just makes the iPhone finally like more expandable. It makes it more useful with accessories and things, which we'll talk about in a minute. So to shoot with the iPhone 15 Pro Max out in White Sands, I use this, and this is a Neewer cage for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You just, slide the phone in like so, and then this folds over like that, close down the little latch, and then you have a cage around the outside. There are 1/4-20 mounts, which is how I mounted this, here and along, the top up here. There's a couple on the bottom down here and a couple on the top up here too, just like a cage for a camera. It also has cold shoe mounts. So there's a cold shoe mount here and a cold shoe mount here. And the coolest accessory of all is a circular filter adapter. Now, this is one of the big reasons why I wanted this particular cage. Even though there's a number of other models and, options from other companies, this is a step-up ring that is made by Maven. Actually, all of the filters that I use are magnetized filters from Maven. And this is a 67 to 82 millimeter step-up ring, which means that then using their magnetized filters, I can just pop them on and use them when I'm shooting video and following the 180-degree shutter rule, because that's one of the things that the Blackmagic Cam allows you to do, which is fantastic. So then to control exposure and to control light, I could just pop on whatever density of, solid ND is most appropriate, for whatever scene that I happen to be shooting. And there were some situations actually when the light was so bright out in White Sands that sometimes I would start with one filter, like a solid ND like this. And then if I needed, a little bit more density, I could just pop another one on in front of it in order to increase the density and remove to reduce even more light. There is one problem with this filter mount though, one limitation, one thing that's rather notable, and I'll get to that in a minute when I talk about the cons. So yeah, so I would have a filter on the front like so, and then I would also use a Rode wireless transmitter. And because this has a cold shoe in it, I could slide the transmitter into the cage like so, connect a USB-C cable, and this is a nice little flexible USB-C cable I found, and the Blackmagic Cam just instantly recognized the Rode wireless transmitter, or receiver rather, and it was great. And then I could record audio directly to the phone instead of recording audio separately and syncing it later, and all that stuff. Now, another thing that you can do with the iPhone 15 Pro Max and with the Blackmagic Cam app is you can record video externally from the phone if you don't have enough space inside the phone. And again, one of the great things about having this new USB-C port on the iPhone, because now we can take like Samsung 2 terabyte SSD like this. And so then using this, I can then just target the SSD in the Blackmagic Cam app, record video externally, connect this to my laptop later, dump all the footage off of it, and and that would work too. Now, obviously, one of the problems with this setup, as some of you may have already figured this out, is that there's only one USB-C port. So you can only connect like either an SSD drive to be recording video externally, or a wireless microphone, but not both at the same time without some kind of external USB-C powered bridge or hub. So anyway, but that was not the main problem that I experienced with this Neewer cage, unfortunately. There is one thing about it. Around the base of the filter mount here, there are some gaps, there are some openings. So this filter plate does not completely seal the lenses on the back of the camera. Unfortunately, there's some little openings like here. There are some gaps. There are some gaps over here on this side as well, really just all around here. And it drove me nuts because I kept getting this weird kind of haze on the right side of the frame, this kind of like greenish white haze. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought that I had like some fingerprints on the lens or something, or maybe it was something with the filters. And then I realized that there were gaps in the back here. And what was happening was that light was sneaking in the side, and I think especially this side over here, like it would reflect off of the back of the phone and then bounce into the filter, underneath the filters here. So what I ended up doing was using this black Velcro strap here, and I would just wrap this thing. It's so hacky, but it actually worked. You can also use like gaffer's tape for something like this, but obviously not an ideal solution. Obviously not a good long-term solution, and honestly, the reason why. At the end of the day, I probably wouldn't recommend using this Neewer cage. It's otherwise great, but that is a serious design flaw with it that definitely needs to be fixed, unfortunately. So yeah, I would love to hear from you. If you have experience with a different system, something that is similar to this that you can use circular filters on that has been working well for you, that you like, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what I should check out, because I do like this setup, but this cage could definitely be better. So I'm interested to try something else. If you know of something and you recommend it, let me know why down below in the video description. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to, as always, reach out to me. and say hello. That's going to do it for this video, everyone. I will see you next time. So yeah, everything I talked about in this video, the cage, the accessories, the filters, the cables, you know, everything else, you'll find links to everything down below in the video description in case you're interested to learn more. And by the way, if you have experience with a different system, if there's one that you like that has circular filter threads on it that you can use, let me know what it is. Let me know why you like it, and let me know if if it works well for you, because I would like to try out some different options and see if there's something else that'll work a little bit better. So hit me up, let me know down below in the video description. Would love to hear from you. That's it, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you next time.